Let us now give our attention to Brother Neil Ryan as he considers the final part to this symposium, Stand Firm Against the Devil's Crafty Acts in the Field of Education.
The world that we live in today is very unstable. Unfortunately, many around us believe that the pursuit of higher education ensures true security, even financial security. But is that so? And how are we to understand the term higher education? Well, the WatchTower, October 1st, 2005, defined higher education as this: a university or college for 4 or more years, leading to a bachelor's degree, or to postgraduate studies for careers in medicine, law, engineering, and so forth. So such university education is what is meant when Jehovah's Witnesses use the term higher education today. But what do you think, young ones? What do you think is the absolute and highest form of education that you could possibly receive today? Is it worldly higher education, or is it divine education? Well, let's see where Jehovah himself puts the emphasis, found in Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 13. And that's Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 13. And there it says, "And all your sons will be persons taught by Jehovah, and the peace of your sons will be abundant." So Jehovah himself, right here in this verse, promises to teach all of us with divine education. And he does that by means of the weekly meetings, publications, and assemblies such as these. And so Jehovah emphasizes divine education. However, don't forget that Satan the devil himself is just as eager to mold the minds of young ones in the world today. And that's why we have to be determined to stand firm against the devil's crafty acts in the field of higher education. Now, we just noted in Isaiah chapter 54 and verse 13 that when Jehovah educates, it equals peace, doesn't it? But what can a young person expect if they were to pursue higher education with the thought of gaining great wealth or making a name for themselves? The answer is spiritual danger. To illustrate, picture your young son or daughter climbing a ladder that's propped up against a very tall building, and you as the parent stand at the foot. As he climbs higher and higher, what's his goal? Is he climbing to make a great name for himself or to obtain wealth? You look up at that ladder and you see some of those rungs aren't too stable, and the wind begins to blow furiously. How do you feel as the parent? Helpless? Has your son or daughter fallen yet? No, but the indication seems to point to danger, doesn't it? So we can liken this to the problems that are often encountered in colleges and universities by young ones who are away from the loving shelter of their parents' homes. The problems they face there is far more complex and different than the problems they faced in high school while they were in your home. So Christian parents, we do well to think about these two questions. Should we knowingly expose our children to that kind of environment for 4 or perhaps more years? Is the risk involved worth whatever benefit that the young one could possibly receive? So we do well to give serious and prayerful consideration to those two questions. And we can be assured that if we keep the kingdom first and seek Jehovah's interest, that it will help protect us against this possible crafty act of the devil. At this time, let's look on a demonstration in which a young one who's about to graduate high school and his mother approach an elder for advice before making their own personal decision.
Brother Wilson, I got some great news today.
Well, tell me, Manny, what is it?
But when I got home from field service, I opened my mailbox, and there it was, a full scholarship to FSU, Financial Security University. As soon as I read the letter, I immediately dropped to my knees and thanked Jehovah.
Actually, Brother Wilson, Manny and I would like to talk to you about this great news that he got today.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a couple of minutes. Let's talk about it. Because, Lori, I sense a different tone in your voice. You sound concerned.
I am. Frankly, I'm torn. Raising children in this system as a single parent hasn't been easy financially, and I don't want man to have the same anxieties that I've had. Financial security, job security, providing for health insurance. I want him to pioneer. So could this scholarship maybe be an answer to our prayers?
Well, first of all, let me thank you both for approaching the elders to get Jehovah's direction. But now, Lori, you are a fine example as a single parent. And Manny, you're doing so well in school and in the congregation, carrying the mics and helping with the magazines. These are really commendable. However, this is not an easy decision, but it is a personal one that you would have to make. Now, one article that will no doubt have a bearing on your decision is found in the October 1st, 2005 WatchTower, pages 28 to 30. Now, the title of that article was, Parents, What Future Do You Want for Your Children? Now, this is the article I referred to a couple of weeks back, and maybe you still have your copies available. Why don't we look at a couple of points mentioned in that article? Let's start with paragraph 10 under the subheading, The Cost of Pursuing Higher Education. Now, since you've gotten a scholarship, your education is supposedly free, right, Manny?
Right.
But there are strings attached. For example, why does the government or states provide these scholarships to these universities?
Well, it's to fuel the national economy.
Well, how so?
Well, the college degree will increase the amount of money you can earn and also increase the amount you can spend. And this will ultimately put more money back into the economy.
So, although your education is supposedly free, what does the very next sentence say?
The price that a student pays is a life engrossed in advancing the present system. Wow, I never thought of it that way before.
Yes, and that paragraph also highlights a question. Is this what Christian parents want for their children?
No, definitely not.
You know, Lori, there's a scripture mentioned there, 1 John chapter 2, verse 17. Could you read that for us? And let's get the Bible's principle behind that.
Furthermore, the world is passing away, and so is its desire. But he that does the will of God remains forever.
No, I don't want to be a part in advancing this system. I'd rather be a part in doing Jehovah's will.
Well, you know, that sounds real good, Manny. But now, let's note what paragraph 11 brings to our attention. Manny, what is often the environment in these university and college campuses?
Well, it says that people binge drink, smoke, do drugs, they cheat on tests, and the atmosphere is very immoral.
Yes. In fact, the paragraph also describes this term, hooking up. What is meant by that, and how prevalent is it?
Well, it says that hooking up is a one-time sexual encounter between acquaintances, and 60 to 80% of college students are doing it. It even says that if you're a normal college student, you'll participate in this. Wow, Brother Wilson, that's very serious.
Yeah. Yet, what the world calls normal on these campuses, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9 and 10, Jehovah says that those practicing these activities will not
inherit God's kingdom. Wow, Manny, you know, I'd really be worried about you. Besides the bad environment, all the pressure to do well in school, to study for exams, and even the part-time job you're going to need to get. How much time will you really have left for spiritual things?
You know, Laurie, those concerns you just mentioned are found in paragraph number 12. But now, let me draw your attention to the 3 questions in paragraph number 13. Laurie, would you read those for us, please?
Should Christian parents knowingly expose their children to that kind of environment for 4 or perhaps more years? Is the risk involved worth whatever benefit the young ones may receive? And most important, what are the young ones learning about things that should come first in their life?
Mom, we really have a lot to think about.
Yes, we do.
Well, I tell you what, how about you discuss this at your next family study, and I'll check back in to see how things went.
Thanks, Brother Wilson, for always pointing us to the Bible and the other publications to make these decisions.